my friends, welcome to my channel. If you're new here, I'm Zita, and on my channel I do DIYs and makeovers on a budget. And don't forget to follow me on Instagram, Facebook, and Pinterest at OakWell Home. So let's get started on today's DIYs and see what I've created. For my first couple of DIYs, I'm going to be using these embroidery hoops, which I picked up at the dollar store, and you can also find these in some thrift stores as well. And I'm going to be using some drop cloth here as well that I had on hand. And you can cut it with scissors, you can rip it, or you can use fabric cutter. And you're going to want to cut it big enough to fit your embroidery hoop. It's better to have a little bit more than not enough. So I'm kind of centering out my hoop here, and then I'm going to be using some transfers on these pieces of drop cloth. So here I have some Prima Redesign transfers, and I think I got these from Amazon. And I'll see if I can find them for you and leave the link in the description box. And if you watched my video from last week, you will have seen me use these transfers on this beautiful toolbox makeover. So if you haven't seen that video, I'll put it in the description box and you can go and watch that. It turned out absolutely beautiful. So here I'm just centering up where I want the transfer, and then I'm gonna pull my hoops out, and I actually end up ironing this piece of drop cloth before I apply my transfer. Just wanted to make sure that all the wrinkles were out and everything was nice and smooth before I applied my transfer. So now I'm going to put my hoop back on there and then just put my floral transfer in the middle here, and just figure out where I want to put it, because I am going to do a little bit of stamping on here as well. So once I've figured out where I want to put it, you're going to pull the backing from underneath the transfer. And this package of transfers comes with a burnishing tool as well. So then you're just going to burnish it down. I think these come with like a wooden stick. I have a few of them laying around. I have wooden stick, plastic stick laying around, but this little burnisher here I picked up at the dollar store as well, the Dollar Tree actually. And this one was a little wider and a little easier to use. So you're going to want a hard surface underneath to burnish this down, and that plastic will kind of turn like translucent, and that's kind of how you know that it's burnished down. So now I do put parchment paper on top of this and iron it as well, and you'll see in the second embroidery hoop the reason why I do that. So here I have these little stamps which I picked up at Michael's. I forget what brand they are now, but I'll leave it in the description box and maybe leave a link for you if I can find it. And I'm using some green ink, and these stamps are awesome. They just snap together, so there's no like holding them in place with your hands or do them one at a time, because I do have some small stamps from the dollar store, but when you do them one at a time, sometimes your letters don't line up. But this turned out awesome, and I used that green ink which matched really nicely with the stem of the floral. So that's what that looks like. And now I'm going to put my embroidery hoop on and center it up and make sure everything is nice and tight on there. And once I have the embroidery hoop put together, I do kind of pull on the drop cloth just to make sure that everything is nice and tight, so it looks nicer that way. And then I'm going to cut that excess drop cloth off. And you don't want to throw out that excess drop cloth. You can use that for like tags for projects. You know, you can stamp on it. or you can just even use it as a wipe cloth or to stamp some paint on, you know, to dab off your brush. So here's what this first one looks like. Let me know in the comments what you think of this, and do you like that little bloom print that I put on there? So for this second one, I've already cut my drop cloth here, and this is something else that you can do here as well, which I didn't do with that first one, is you can just kind of put your embroidery hoop in place, and that's going to make the imprint on the burlap, and then you can just take the hoops away, and then you know you have your circle there so you know where to put it. So this little transfer I picked up at the Dollar Tree. Isn't this so cute? But you'll see what happened with this one, and this will show you why I used the iron in that first one. I actually made this one first before I did this first DIY that I showed you. And this is why I iron both of them. So I burnished it down on the drop cloth, and I think because, you know, these transfers are from the Dollar Tree, they aren't as great as the ones that you pay more money for, but it did work. You know, I got it burnished down, and I noticed that it seemed to not be burnished down, and you'll see me kind of look at it a little closer thereafter. So I put my hoop on, and then I kind of noticed that there was some paint on the back of this drop cloth, so I must have been using it for another project and got some paint on the back. So I took off my hoop and picked off the dried up paint on the back of the drop cloth. And then, like I said, I noticed that the transfer wasn't burnished down the way that I wanted it to be burnished down. So here, you know, I'm pulling it tight, and then that's when I noticed that little bump there, and that was some dried up paint. So then, you know, I took the hoop off again, because yeah, that would have drove me crazy. But if something like that wouldn't drive you crazy, then you could just leave that little bump there. So I lined it up again, and this, where you see my, you know, kind of playing with it there, I noticed that it wasn't completely burnished on. So I take it off again. At least I know where to put the hoop, because the imprint is in the drop cloth now, because I've taken it off and put it back on so many times. So then I put the plastic back on top of it and start burnishing it down again, because I thought, oh, you know, maybe I didn't burnish it down hard enough. That's why it was started to come up. But no, afterwards I realized that maybe it's because it's a dollar store transfer and it doesn't work as great as, you know, the ones you pay a little bit more money for. So anyway, I thought I had it burnished down, so I cut all my excess fabric off, and then I, you know, hung it on my wall, and I noticed, like, after a day or two, that it seemed like the transfer was coming off again. So you'll see me, you know, but I've already cut my excess fabric off. So you'll see here. This is what I mean. This is what I noticed after a day or two while it was sitting on the wall. It started to come off again. So then I thought, how can I don't want to waste this. It's so beautiful. be a little wild, it says. So I put some books underneath because I didn't want to take it off the hoop because, you know, I've already cut it. So I just put the parchment paper over there and ironed it on, and it's been perfect ever since. So if you find some of these at your local dollar store, go ahead and pick them up, but just use an iron with the parchment paper and it will stay down. And it's been on my wall for a couple of weeks now and it still hasn't come up. So just use your iron. Isn't this adorable? I love this. And this is from the Dollar Tree, a little $1.25 transfer, and it looks so beautiful in this little embroidery hoop. Let me know in the comments what you think of both of them and which one was your favorite. For this next DIY, I have made this over previously, and you may have seen it in a previous video, but in the video I do say I may update it in the future because I wasn't satisfied with the way it was looking. So time has come for me to update it, and I just gave it a little bit more extra, and I think it looks so much better, and you can let me know what you think. Next DIY here is this box that I thrifted. I think it was maybe a tea box or something like that. Has all these little compartments in there, but it had that that wording on the top there that I couldn't remove. It was kind of ingrained into the wood, so I decided I'm gonna paint that white just on top because I really love the color of the box. I guess I could have tried to find something like the same color as the box, but thought I'd decoupage a floral print on top there. So again, I just apply a little bit of Mod Podge at a time and then use my plastic to burnish that down and then start on another little piece. And I had to piece this napkin together to get the right pattern, just the way the floral print was on the napkin. Now in the end, I don't know what happened here, if it was the Mod Podge, but it seemed like where that line was, it kind of turned like, I don't know, a little yellow or something. So I could see that line a little bit, you know, coming through because of it looking a little more yellow. So I may redo this over sometime in the future, and you'll see here I'll point to that line. See right there? Kind of looks like it's a different color. I don't know why that happened, but so yeah, I sanded off the excess napkin off there, and right here I'm using that same calendar that I had, and I'm just cutting out a piece to fit inside. I was going to do decoupage inside, but I decided to just cut this piece out from this calendar. It says you're enough, and I put that inside. So this box, guys, you could use it for tea, you could use it for jewelry, you could use it for office supplies, sewing supplies, so many little things that you could use this box for. And yeah, I've dressed it up there with the decoupage and then this little piece from the calendar, and this one is all done. What do you think of this one, guys? Give me a comment in the comment section and let me know what you think of this guy. And let me know what you think happened there with that line, that yellow line that kind of came through. Do you think that was the Mod Podge, or do you think that was just the napkin? So here's what it looked like before, and here's what it looked like after. Have it sitting over there in the sun. I think it looks beautiful. That floral print is really nice. Again, giving me spring vibes again. This is what that calendar piece that I cut out there looks like inside. So yeah, you could use this little box for all kinds. So again, guys, let me know in the comments what you thought of this one. So here, friends, is where I updated it. I did put a gold all the way around where I had sanded the napkin off, and that's the gold acrylic paint that I use. Now I'm going to put some gold butterfly transfers on here, and also a transfer from Prima Redesign transfers. And these little gold butterfly transfers I picked up at the Dollar Tree, so check out your local Dollar Tree for some transfers. And I'm just burnishing it down here on the box, and there's the Prima Redesign transfers, and I'm just going to cut out a butterfly from that as well. Now I don't know what happened to the footage where I applied the gold paint. I don't know if I filed it away somewhere else or if I just forgot to film it, but I just took some acrylic paint on my finger and just put it around the edges of the box. And you can use a brush as well if you want, but I just spread it around there with my fingers. And I think that gold on there just takes this box up to a new level. So let me know in the comments what you think. If you like that gold and the butterflies on there, or if you would have left this box the way I had it previously. So here I'm just placing my butterflies where I want them, and then I'm going to take the backing off, and then I am going to burnish down the transfers. And you will see that the transfer will turn kind of translucent, and that's when you know that you can kind of peel up your plastic there. And if you take up the plastic and you see some of it is not coming up, you can just place the plastic back down and keep burnishing it. And then you can further burnish it with the plastic that it came on. Now I'm doing the same thing with my dollar store transfers, just putting some, you know, in different places on the flowers. And once I have the transfers on there, I am going to use some butterfly stamps on there as well that I picked up at the Dollar Tree as well. And I'm going to use some gold ink on the butterfly stamps and stamp a few of those on there, and then this piece is done. So thank you so much for watching today. I thank you for sharing some of your time with me, and let me know in the comments which one of these DIYs was your favorite, and I hope they gave you some inspiration today. We'll see you in the next video. Bye.